Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com with this week's episode of the Market Monday, coming to you late, actually on Tuesday. I apologize, around the holidays gets super busy for me, especially with swim season and a lot of other things I've got going on so this time of year. So I finally, one of the reasons too is I didn't really have a good topic. I know last week we said we'd talk about cards that I think have the potential of going up in casual. A little bit of a kind of market alert and update. I noticed, according to, I get these notifications from MTG Price. I think all you have to do is subscribe through mtgprice.com and they send like this email out, or maybe it's because I have been a premium user at one point in time that I still get the emails, but they have these kind of market alert, and every day it's called daily pro trader briefing or something like that I still get the emails for. And they show cards that have been A, either moved up significantly in price, or B, have had major inventory swings, meaning that a lot of have been taken off or sold from the larger vendors. I think MTG Price uses a good dozen or so different sources, anywhere from like Abu Games to Cool Stuff to TCG Player to I think even eBay, and tries to give you a fair market price. So it's a little bit different from MTG Goldfish on how it prices. It doesn't weigh as heavily on eBay and TCG Player, and it weighs a lot more on using a lot of the online vendors. So it's kind of a nice little option. I don't know exactly how you get that. I know that I was given a free like 6-month access to MTG Price, and that might just be a relic of that and still getting the emails, but I find it pretty useful. So again, this is no promotion for MTG Price whatsoever. It's just something that I find interesting or actually helpful. And if you're interested in that, I'll try to have some links. Maybe next time we'll talk about that. Maybe I'll contact MTG Price and see how that's if that's like a free thing or if that's actually a premium thing or whatnot. So anywho, that I was noticing that on the Pro Trader briefing that a lot of legendary cards and kind of these, how we talked about 2 weeks ago that I think you should target cards that are very unique to either set names or legendary creatures or mechanics that are very hard to reprint, very hard just to stuff, even in like a commander based deck. And I think that someone is on kind of the same thought process, because there's a lot of major inventory swings in those specific cards. A lot of Kamigawa cards, a lot of like Time Spiral cards, or that kind of era that have a lot of unique mechanics and unique names. Major inventory swings in those. So I think that is going to be moving forward. Just to kind of reiterate what I've said in the past, that's kind of going to be the way of investing in Magic the Gathering cards, is trying to avoid the reprint game. So I think that Wizards has shown us clear signs that if any card that gets above $5 in rare, which is what I've been calling for years, or over like even $10, $20 in Mythic, is kind of on the chopping block for a reprint. So I think that right now should be definitely the time to get out of your Modern Masters staples. Or your modern staples, because most of them are going to get reprinted in the Modern Masters 3. I think it's going to be even a larger print run than Modern Masters 1 or 2, and I think they're going to do I think we're going to see the exact same thing with the Eternal Masters. They're going to release it in March as kind of a hush-hush thing, and I'm going to go out and say that the modern portion of the Las Vegas Massive Week tournament is probably going to have something to do with Modern Masters. I'm just going to go out on the limb and say it. I don't think there'd be any other way. It does say it's modern constructed, but I bet you that it's going to have a huge Modern Masters theme to it. So anyway, those are just some updates on some videos that I've talked about in the past. So now let's go to the point of this video. This video is going to be very short comparison to other Market Monday videos, as I have to leave within an hour to a swim meet. But this one is called the Standard Showdown. This is something I want to talk about, which I think is Wizards' greatest move in a long time. And let me try to justify why. As a local game store owner, and as a player, and as someone that's been around in the community for quite a while, as a YouTuber, I think that I have a lot of perspectives in this field. Like, I've played at a more casual store. I think it was called Epic Puzzles and Games in Salt Lake City. And one time I was sitting down with the owner, and I just asked him, because I thought I was one of his like loyal customers is keeping the store open. And he kind of laughed at me and said, no, it's the casuals. That like 90% of his product was bought by casuals. Casuals is coming in and buying cards and never playing at the store. And that was like the bread and butter of his store. And I think that there are really two varying, like polarizing different people that play Magic the Gathering. There's the ones that the more in tune with the community, the competitive players, the people that play on like or create YouTube videos or go on forums or use Reddit or those type of things. There's us that we think we're Magic the Gathering, but we're actually a minority of the masses that just play it as the same way someone would play a board game. So Type A, us competitive players, have really been suffering from the increase in Magic, especially in Modern and even in Standard back when we had the fetch lands and the Battle for Zendikar lands. That Standard went insane in price. We're talking about $800 Standard decks, with Jace and fetch lands being the main culprits of making that format super expensive. And there was this huge outcry of players even like myself saying it is too damn expensive to play Standard, and I'm not going to do this every rotation. So Wizards adjusted based upon the minority of the player groups that were being affected by this and reprinted a lot of things into oblivion. This year, 2016, would definitely be called the year of the reprints, and 2017 looks to be following course. And now we've gone from one end of the pendulum on to the other end where it swung completely opposite direction, where we're starting to get worried about the number of reprints devaluing our cards. So as a player, I saw a lot of comments on my last Market Monday video like, I don't care, reprint it, I'm a player. Yes, but your card collection has to hold value. Otherwise, people will become frustrated and people will leave the game. The game is no good to you if there's no one to play against. And let me tell you, from interviewing people at my store, from talking around just the different circles, this is a collectible card game and price does matter. Holding value does matter. So it's killed games in the past where the comic book industry, for example, where they just reprinted comic books into oblivion, made it so people didn't even want to collect comic books, which actually led to people not even wanting to read comic books. There's kind of this weird effect with that, where people just became so disenfranchised with the whole gig that they just flat out cold turkeyed it and went on to something else. The same thing would happen to Magic if Magic continues in this really reprint heavy cycle. So they need to find a good way to elevate the price of Standard yet still make collections worthwhile. And I think their reprint policy was actually catering to like the majority of cards got into hands of category B, which was the casual player. Casual players are booster pack buyers. I've noticed that from my own store. I have people that come in and buy booster packs from me daily that rarely ever play at any events, that just buy booster packs, go home and open them because they like the thrill of opening booster packs, or they just play with the cards that they opened their booster packs with their friends and family, have never played in a competitive event, have never even played in a Friday Night Magic, let alone even like a Commander tournament. But weekly, daily, a lot of these people will come in and buy booster packs. They are the ones that mainly buy the sealed product. Their cards never circulate back into the economy. It just takes like the product and puts it into oblivion. Their oblivion equals their kitchen table, and maybe they'll come sell the cards when they quit Magic in 2 to 3 years, or get married or have a baby. A lot of times like that, that's when cards people are like, oh, I don't use this anymore, and we get the casual cards. But for the vast majority of the time, those aren't circulating in the kind of the sphere, the economy, the local economy. And that hasn't done a good job of elevating the price as far as specific players. Maybe it decreases the eBay price or decreases the price that a store can sell it, because we do get that residual flow of cards coming into the economy. But at the same point, it does not give a player a great outlook or a great avenue to decrease their own cost. And so I think that reprints are not the answer in this case. What I do love is this Standard Showdown, because it puts cards directly into people that play the game at a local game store. Now let me explain what the Standard Showdown is. So stores receive 40 prize boosters, 10 for each event. So we're going to give out 10 booster packs for each event that will contain 3 cards. These boosters contain a premium card from a current legal standard set, so that's a foil. two non-premium cards that are either rare or mythic. And then they can be in any way, they don't have cards that are double face, so you're not going to get a double face. But this means like Liliana's, Nahiri's, what else is a very, Smuggler's Copters. All of these are going to have a very, very high frequency in these premium packs. Each store will get 40 prize boosters, 10 per event, that directly go to the player base. And so I'm going to talk about this in a aspect of investing. This is going to kill the price of a lot of standard cards because some players will not want the cards that they get, so they'll just sell them directly back to the store, which will make the stores lower the price, or they'll get eBayed, will decrease the price of eBay. So it's going to elevate the price of standard right there. But what this really is doing is it's circulating cards amongst the active players, which I think is the smartest thing for Magic to do. As a local game store owner, this gets people into play because these are just basically adding to the prize pool. To a player, this is giving them something to work towards. A lot of times, it's not a good, you play in a standard event, you win some booster packs. Like most stores give out booster packs. I give out store credit that can be then purchased towards booster packs. It's more flexible. And we actually try to incentivize them actually buying singles or tournament entry with it as it gets, more cards into the, or more competitive decks into the circulation and just a better overall experience. So that's been my philosophy. I think that it's a much better route for Wizards to go down instead of just trying to reprint things into oblivion, to do this going forward from now until the end of eternity. We have been joking about how terrible F&M promos are. Sometimes they're not even worth giving out because they're just so unplayable. What ends up happening with F&M promos is Wizards has to try to guess which cards are going to be playable or not. Sometimes they're on the mark and they have cards like Lingering Souls or the, what's the Convoke card? The Stoke the Flames. Other times they have a card that is just, they thought was going to be really, really good, like Blighted Fen, and then just nobody wants it. It has very, very, it's maybe a one of in a deck, a tier 2 deck. And so no one even wants to show up for F&M for the promo is not getting anyone in the doors. This guarantees that people will be in the doors. Now, I've already had confirmation from people that have opened some of these, and there are some packs that are just chock full of 2 mythics in it and a foil mythic. Like, there is some god packs of these Showdown events. So they are worthwhile. They are going to get people excited. And the very, very best thing about this is it goes directly to the players. It is going to get people excited about playing tournaments. That category A is going to get revitalized. And that is the casual players I don't think are really hip with the times. I don't think you're going to dissuade a lot of players based upon reprinting things into oblivion or adding a lot more new sealed product that, I mean, they love that. They eat that stuff up. They love to have access to anthology decks and more commander decks and things like that. Whereas the players hate to buy sealed product because it doesn't really meet their end goal, which is to have a competitive deck. And so this is just, I think this is the best of both worlds. It's going to decrease the prices. Just be aware of that. This is going to, 40 packs is not a lot per store, but it will decrease the price pretty significantly, because just see what an F&M promo decreases the overall price of something, and then you can basically adjust on that, because this is a little bit actually higher. You don't even get 40 F&M promos per month. We get about that, actually. We get about 6 per week, I think, at our store level of F&M promos, and those promos do have quite a bit of circulation and do decrease the price of an uncommon that happens to be quite expensive. So anyway, keep that in mind. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. I know this has been a very, very quick Market Monday. Again, I got to take off, but I thought I'd at least talk about this topic. Also, on another side note, there are things that are very similar to these standard Showdown booster packs, which is also a buy a box promo, which is here. The holiday gift box and holiday buy a box promo. If you buy a booster pack or a booster box, you will get the boosters will contain a premium card, so a foil, including an Zendikar Expedition, Kaladesh, and Vengeance. So you have a chance to get either one of those, and then 2 non-premium cards that are either a rare or mythic. So this is very similar to that sort of pack. So they're actually giving something to Category B as a way to have some sort of reprint stuff. And I like this a lot better than just shoving it in sets. I think that if you shove a lot of reprints into these unlimited print run type things like Conspiracy 2, it can just completely trash the economy. It can put way too many. It's Chronicles all over again into the system and just completely crash those specific cards. So we did see that with Conspiracy at the first, and then people quit buying Conspiracy because it was such a trash set to actually play. Does anyone actually like drafting Conspiracy 2? I thought it was awful. Conspiracy 1 was great though, so maybe I'm just looking back at rose-colored goggles of how good the Conspiracy 1 was, what a great multiplayer format that was, and then Conspiracy 2, how frustrating that was to play. But I think this is a better avenue to try to reprint cards than to just shove it in so many sealed product type things. So I want to know in the comment section how you feel about these, if this is going to affect your investment strategy. Me personally not. This is so good for my store because people are just going to open these and then sell them back to me. And so I'm going to get access to cheap cards again because a lot of people just love the thrill of opening packs. This gives you the thrill of opening now a premium pack in both the standard Showdown events and buying a booster box. So it's going to incentivize 2 things at my store. Great move by Wizards of the Coast. I know that I don't give them props a lot. A lot of the times that my channel ends up being this kind of very Debbie Downer type feel, very negative towards Wizards of the Coast, because usually they're on the opposite end of the side that I'm on with every community issue and a lot of their policies with reprints and even like Modern and things like that. So this is a good, very, very, very happy about this as a player, as a store owner, as an investor. I think this gives us a good opportunity to find those kind of niches. Last topic I am going to talk about is what do you think? I want to know this question in the comment section too about the new reprint policy. We talked about it in the last. You can go down the comment section. There was a lot of really, really great comments in last week's video. But I think I'm kind of on both ends of the mixed feelings about this. When I got into speculation, speculators were the minority. There are few and far between of us that actually did speculate because the average increase of a card would be between like 15 and 20%, and the average cost of a card was really, really low back in the day. And so you can go back to my Market Monday videos clear back in the day, and I was saying, hey, invest in Copperline Gorge. They'll go from $2 to $3. Yay! You get a whole dollar investment. And to this day and age, that's a joke. If a card only goes up $1, it's not even worth investing in. And then the market is just so much more volatile than it used to be. So I'm thinking with a lot of speculators losing a ton of money over this last year, especially those mass speculators that bought into a ton of more legacy type cards that had them reprinted into the ground through Eternal Masters and Conspiracy 2 and now even Commander. And the same thing with Modern. Modern not paying out like a lot of people thought it'd be. In fact, 2016 was an overall decrease in the price of Modern, not increase. And we're actually seeing overall decreases across the board in set values and whatnot. So I think people that have bought in and arbitrarily increased the value of cards are taking a huge hit. Now it's Christmas time. Now they need money. Now they're going to flood the market. They're frustrated. I think this is a good time to get back into speculating because the masses are going to get out of it. And I think that was my heydays, is when no one else was doing it, and I was kind of like the one person at the local game store that was really being this speculator. And then of course when prices went crazy with cards that went overnight from like dollar cards to $10 cards or $10 cards to $70 cards overnight, that made a lot of just the common folk really aware of prices and the market trends and things like that. And I think that it kind of snuffed out the ability for the casual speculator to actually make a profit. So let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. If you think that's going to be the trend going forward, are people going to mass exodus the speculation type gig, or are people still going to have these huge mass speculators that are going to kind of choke the market and corner the market on basically everything? Now we're seeing them target those unique and legendary type effects. The set specific, the name specific sets are starting to be bought out. So anyway, Hope you enjoyed this video and looking forward to your comments in the comment section below. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.